Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. We are reading about Old and Middle English. Today I am going to tell you about grammatical categories. Before discussing grammatical categories in Middle and Old English, it's better to know what is a grammatical category. A grammatical category is a class of units such as nouns and verbs or features such as number and case that share a common set of characteristics. They are the building blocks of a language which allow us to communicate with one another. These are some grammatical categories. Number. Number is a property of nouns and pronouns and it indicates quantity. Number has two values, singular and plural. Case. Case is a property of pronouns and nouns and expresses their relationship to the rest of the sentence. Case has three values, subjective, objective, and possessive. Gender. Natural gender is a property of pronouns. It has three values, masculine, feminine, and neuter. Person. Person is a property of pronouns. It differentiates participants in a conversation. Person has three values. First person. It refers to the speaker. Second person. It refers to the hearer. Third person. It refers to all other things. Tense. Tense is a property of verbs. It corresponds with location in time. Aspect. Aspect is a property of verbs. It expresses our view of the time structure of an activity or state. It has three values, simple, continuous, and perfect. Mood. Mood is a property of verbs. It relates to the speaker's feelings about the reality of what he is saying. It has three values. Indicative, it expresses simple statement. Imperative, it expresses command. And subjunctive, it expresses something desired or imagined. Voice. Voice is a property of transitive verb. It expresses relationship of the subject to the action. It has two values, active and passive. In active, subject does the action, and in passive voice, subject receives the action. Degree. Degree is a property of gradable adjectives and adverbs. It indicates amount. It has three values, positive, comparative, and superlative. Positive is the basic quality, comparative a greater quality, and superlative is maximum quality. Now I tell you about inflection. Inflection is a change in the form of a word. In English, usually the addition of endings to mark distinction as tense, person, number, gender, mood, voice, and case. Inflection differs from derivation in that it does not change the part of speech. Inflection refers to a process of word formation in which items are added to the base form of a word to express grammatical meanings. For example, the inflection S at the end of dogs shows that the noun is plural. There were three forms of inflections in Old English period according to numbers: singularity, duality, and plurality. The dual form disappeared in Middle English. Grammatical gender. A system of grammatical gender whereby every noun was treated as either masculine, feminine, or neuter existed in Old English but fell out of use during the Middle English period. Increasingly, the male form of such noun is used for either men or women. Old English had a system of grammatical gender similar to that of modern German with three genders: masculine, feminine, and neuter. Middle English was the language spoken after the Norman conquest until the late 15th century. English underwent distinct variations and developments following the Old English period. This stage of the development of English language roughly followed the high to the late Middle Ages. Middle English saw significant changes to its vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, and orthography. Writing conventions during the Middle English period varied widely. Examples of writing from this period that have survived show extensive regional variation. The more standardized English language became fragmented, localized, and was, for the most part, being improvised by the end of the period and aided by the invention of the printing press. This largely formed the basis for modern English spelling, although pronunciation has changed considerably since that time. Middle English was succeeded in England by the era of early modern English, which lasted until about 1650. During the Middle English period, many Old English grammatical features became simplified or disappeared altogether. Noun, adjective, and verb inflections were simplified by the reduction and eventual elimination of most grammatical case distinctions. Middle English also saw considerable adoption of Norman French vocabulary, especially in the areas of politics, law, the arts, and religion, as well as poetic and emotive diction. Conventional English vocabulary remained primarily Germanic in its sources, with Old Norse influences becoming more apparent. Significant changes in pronunciation took place, particularly involving long vowels and diphthongs, which in the later Middle English period began to undergo the Great Vowel Shift. Little survives of early Middle English literature, due in part to Norman domination and the prestige that came with writing in French rather than English. During the 14th century, a new style of literature emerged with the works of writers including John Wycliffe, Geoffrey Chaucer, whose Canterbury Tale remained the most studied and read work of the period. Now we see some differences between Old and Middle English in brief. Old English had Latin influence, Middle English had French influence. In Old English, the word order and the sentence structure were free. Middle English had the same sentence structure as the modern English: subject, verb, and object. Old English exhibits a variety of pronouns for the same pronoun in the same case for the first and second person pronouns. Middle English exhibits a variety of pronouns for the same pronoun in the same case, for example, her, higher, here for her in genitive case. Old English had some silent letters, while all the letters written were pronounced in Middle English. Students, you have to write answers of these questions. What is a grammatical category? How will you define inflection? Describe some differences between Middle and Old English. Dear students, there is no substitute for hard work. Thank you so much.